dinner some evening. Penny frowned. No, I can't do that. Why not? It's only dinner. I just can't, that's all. As she spoke, she was backing away from him. How can you even ask me? She shook her head and melted back into the crowd. And Banks felt perplexed. He wasn't that repulsive. What the hell was wrong with her? He gulped down the rest of his pint and headed for the door. The night sky was moonless but filled with stars, and Helmthorpe High Street deserted. He walked through the graveyard to the footpath that would take him to what passed for home these days. The air smelled of manure and warm hay, and to his right he could hear Gratley Beck roaring below him. The narrow path was unlit, but he knew every inch by heart. The worst that could happen was that he might step into a pile of sheep shit. And as he walked, he thought about Penny Cartwright's strange reaction. Was it their age difference? He was in his early 50s after all, and she was at least 10 years younger. But even that didn't explain her intensity. She could have said she was washing her hair. The path ended halfway up Gratley Hill, and Banks slipped through a double-barrelled stile into the lane. Since his own cottage was still at the mercy of the builders, he'd rented one of the holiday properties there, a one-bedroom flat, upper floor, with private entrance. The irony, he realised, was that it used to be the Stedman house, long since converted. It was during the Stedman case that he'd first met Penny Cartwright. He opened the downstairs door, walked upstairs, and unlocked the inside door. The red light was flashing on his answer phone. As it turned out, there was only one message, and a surprising one. His brother, Roy. He wasn't aware Roy even knew his number. Alan? Oh, shit. You're not there. Look, this is important, and you're the only one who can help. It could be a matter of life and death. Maybe even mine. Can you ring back ASAP? I need to talk to you urgently. Banks heard a buzzing in the background. Listen, I'll have to go. Someone's at the door. Please call. I'll give you my mobile number too. Roy left his phone numbers, and that was that. Puzzled, Banks listened to the message again. Roy sounded more than a little scared, and the call was timed at 9:29 p.m., about an hour earlier. Roy's phone rang several times before an answering machine picked up. Banks left a message saying he'd try again later, and hung up. He tried the mobile number, but got no response there. There was nothing else he could do right now, but the urgency in Roy's voice disturbed him. He'd try again in the morning. Why did people have to find bodies early on a Saturday morning? Annie Cabbot wondered. Especially on a particularly beautiful June morning, when Banks was on holiday and she was on call. Now she'd lose her weekend, and detective inspectors don't get overtime. She pulled to a halt behind the blue Peugeot 106 on a quiet stretch of country road halfway between Eastvale and the A1. She saw that the car's buckled left wing had brought down a section of the dry stone wall. There were no skid marks on the dry tarmac surface. The road had now been closed to traffic, and the immediate area around the car taped off. Detective Sergeant Jim Hatchley was standing by the roadside, and DC Winsome Jackman was sitting half in, half out of an unmarked police car. "What have we got, then?" Annie asked Hatchley, who, as usual, looked as if he'd been dragged through a hedge backwards. "Woman dead behind the wheel." "Cause of death?" "Dunno yet. No obvious marks." "Any idea who?" "I've checked the number plate, Gov," said Winsome. "Registered to a Jennifer Clues, 27, lives in Kennington, London." "We don't know for certain it's her, though." "No," said Hatchley. "There's no handbag, no driving licence. Now, as you can see, looking through the windows." Annie walked to the Peugeot. Both the front windows were open. The key was still in the ignition. The woman sat in the driver's seat, slumped slightly forward, her seatbelt holding her up. Already a number of flies had settled on her